Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs. I almost messed that up. I don't know how. I've only said it about 1,000,000 times and I almost just screwed that part up. I should have probably just cut it out and started over. But we're here now. So this is the Grim Knight Batman figure from the DC Multiverse line from McFarlane Toys. And I actually happen to be a fan of the whole Grim Knight thing. I think Batman Punisher is a pretty cool idea. I get it. I like that. However, I think McFarlane Toys likes it too, based on the image they chose back here, which is like one of the coolest images ever, I think, especially for this version of Batman. But that one would have been cool. They took this one, which is not nearly as cool, and made a figure of it, and included this image. It's like, hey, we got both bases covered. And it's like, hey, you don't, because that's just a piece of cardboard, and this is the thing we bought. So that's a little weird. We'll talk about that more in a minute. But this figure has some good stuff about it for sure, and some stuff which may disappoint some people. So let's go ahead and get it off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands just about 18 centimeters, which makes him pretty close to, let's say 7 inches, not counting his ear nubbins. And okay, before we do anything else, let's just do a quick question of the day, because this is very relevant to this version or this version. I'll show you an image of this version so you can see what it's supposed to look like. They got it pretty close. For me, it's without a doubt, hands down, the one on the back of the box. Like, that's the coolest version of Batman maybe ever, if you're into the edgy type of stuff. So, yeah, whatever. You guys can let me know. Okay, so let's talk about this figure. We'll start with the aesthetics. First of all, every part of it has texture. It's 3D printed. I mean, originally, like digital print, digital sculpting, most likely. I would bet money that's how they did it, because that's pretty much how you do it. But as far as I'm concerned, that little bit of detail, always. His crotch is missing it. I just realized his crotch is very smooth. Anyway, there's texture everywhere except for his crotch, which is weird, but hey, different strokes, right? That makes, when I say everywhere, I didn't mean it literally, and I was using it mostly to make a joke about the crotch being smooth, but I realized people are going to be like, his head doesn't have it, his face doesn't have it. Yeah, I know, okay, I get it. It's not literally everywhere. Okay, anyway, that almost always brings a figure to life, and it does so here. It looks really cool. The light just bounces off of it different. It looks nice with all that texture. That's awesome. We have some different finishes. We have the glossy boots, which are also done in black. The laces are not glossy. Nice attention to detail there. Some kind of hair stuck to mine from the factory. I'm going to leave that there. I think it's probably Todd's, and it's going to increase the value of the figure. We have gunmetal for the metal parts. That looks pretty cool. I just kicked the camera. Professionalism. And they made the bat logo very blue. Very blue. I think it's supposed to just be gray, right? It's like powder blue. That's very weird to me. I don't know about that. We have lots of kibble on him, but lots of web gear and straps and harnesses and things. I want to point out, though, that we have some mags up here on his harness. I didn't check. I'll have to see if this is specific to the source material. But if you had like your standard 30-round mags there, even if it was 9mm, there is not enough room on the human body right there to fit that. And since those are curved, and they look pretty long, I'm guessing those are like your standard AR type of mags, like 5.56, and that wouldn't fit there. That's very weird. They're very tiny. That's an aside. We have some guns molded into the holsters. I hate that always. They also seem to be quite small, but considering we have a whole accessory of things molded together, I guess we're just okay with that nowadays. And I guess I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. Molded accessories just don't do it for me. But we have plenty. Oh, there's 2 more up here. There's more on his chest. I forgot to mention that. There's molded stuff everywhere on this guy. So if you like molded details, this guy is loaded with them. But the thing we have to talk about most is the head. From the front, it's like, it looks okay. The ears are pinched in. It looks to me like they're actually sculpted that way. They don't feel like they were actually bent in the package. I don't know. I don't think they're supposed to look like that, but they are like that. From the front, though, his eyes are a little wide. It's kind of a weird look to his face, but it's okay. But if you go like this, holy crap, he doesn't have the front half of his skull. It's just not there. His eyes are so far back. His forehead is even farther back. There's not a human head that fits in there. Nope, it's not supposed to be like that. Even if it's not this version, that's still human head shaped. It's not even, it's just ridiculously weird looking. Why do they keep screwing up heads? It's so weird. If somebody punched him in the front of the face, their hand would just go up and over. Like, maybe that's it. He's meant to deflect everything that comes at him that way. But it looks so goofy because of that. So goofy. Golly. Oh, well. Alright, so aesthetically speaking, again, this whole line, it's like they do so many good things, and then they do just enough bad stuff to pull it back. So 7 out of 10 for the aesthetic on this guy again. Oh, I forgot to mention. So his harness is way off center. And there's no way to adjust it because it's glued right here, and it's off center over here too. Which means it's not just rotated, it's actually too much on this side because it's off center this way, but front and back. So I don't know what's going on, and I have to peg something through there, that V-shaped gun accessory, and I can force it to make it work, but they glued it on for no reason, I might add. Like, it would just stay on if they didn't glue it, but they glued it and it's off centered, so that really blows. Alright, on to the accessories. First things we'll talk about, you do get a trading card, which I'm sure people are just so geeked over. It's so good to get trading cards of the exact same image on the back of the box, which is a bigger version of the trading card. Don't include the trading card, it's a freaking waste of money. Put the money on the figure, not the piece of cardboard in the box of cardboard, which we already have. That's just so weird. We got a little black display stand. If you want that, you can have that. I don't like them. If you like them, you get it. Okay, we also get some other stuff. We have a couple of guns. One submachine gun. The Sculpt is fairly soft and zero paint. We have one grenade launcher. Sculpt is fairly soft and no paint. And then we have this V-shaped thing that goes on his back. I get that you wouldn't be able to make this many accessories and actually fit them all together and put them on his back otherwise. But the fact that the Sculpt is so soft and there's no paint, it really looks like crap. I mean, even a dry brush would help a little bit, because there's some detail in there that would look okay. But goodness gracious, why is there no paint on anything? The accessories all look so bad. At least the two handheld ones are okay. Like, you can get by with that. But this big, massive stuff on his back with zero paint, it looks like they've been melted together. Like, it's a bunch of plastic that was melted together and then stuck on his back. It just looks so cheap and terrible. So accessories on this guy, 6 out of 10. I don't like those accessories at all. And we have guns on his holsters that don't function, knife in his sheath that doesn't function, and only gripping hands, no fist hands or anything else, which I guess would be fine if the accessories weren't ugly. So yeah, 6 out of 10 for accessories. Okay, on to the articulation. Very limited range going forward and back. Of course you can rotate it, but the collar, or this like shamag type thing up here, is, I'll just call it a scarf if you don't know what a shamag is. Anyway, that's in the way. It's hard plastic, so it's definitely going to get in the way some. You see how it's popping the head up, so that's definitely limiting. It is on a ball peg though, so you can lean him side to side, which is always a good thing, but he's still very limited in the range department. Shoulders have a ball peg connecting them to the torso, but as you can see, it only functions as a butterfly, as in horizontal range, but virtually none. If they're not going to have any range, guys, don't do it. You're wasting money. Put the budget somewhere else. That's extra molding for no reason. It doesn't give any benefit. Stop it. Stop it. Shoulders do work though, better than horizontal, that's fine. Full rotation, that's fine. Bicep swivel, that's fine. Double jointed elbow, that's fine. That's all good. Ball hinge wrists, no problems there. I'm perfectly happy with ball hinge wrists. I know some people don't like them because they technically are less attractive, but they're the most functional, so that's fine. I'm okay with just the insert molded pins, like on Marvel Legends, or even the figures I'm making are going to be that way, because as long as you put the hinge in the right direction, they're fine. These are technically better, but they don't look as good, so it's a little bit of a trade-off. Whatever you prefer is valid, so that's okay. For the torso, we have another diaphragm joint, which he actually gets decent range. It doesn't go as far forward as I would like, but it's more than most of their figures, and it has plenty of range otherwise, so that's good. Full rotation. It does get gappy going back. They weren't that careful. If this was actually not glued on, you'd be able to hide that gap much easier. We have another ball peg down here at the lower torso, which gives us more range, which is all fine. And this belt is floaty to hide that joint. But they sculpted this lip on the diaper. See that lip in there? Why? Because it's not, like, the diaper needs to be smaller at the top so that this belt can fit over it. It doesn't really fit over it, so you always end up, like, you can force it over if you're really, really tenacious. But it's meant to sit above it because it hides the gap. So that should just be sculpted material at that same thickness and even a little bit thinner. Right now we just get an unsculpted band going around the top of his belt, and it's difficult to hide. And that's just the kind of thing that doesn't need to be there. It doesn't serve a purpose. So that's kind of a bummer. For the hips, that's about as much range as we're gonna get out to the side, which is probably okay. I think that's enough. You guys know I always prefer to have more because there's no reason not to, but that'll do. Going forward, the diaper does get in the way, and it makes the legs come out at an angle. So he's very limited in that regard. See, look at the angle of the foot, and that's with it rotated a little bit. So that means that's the same angle of the knee, and you can't rotate it anymore. So you're gonna be very limited in what you can do posing wise. Like no kneeling pose for sure. That's not gonna happen. That sucks. Knee joint is one of the better looking knee joints they've done. They've had some trouble with knee joints. I don't know why. This one's fine. This one's okay. This is basically your standard Marvel Legends design as far as knees go. No issues there. That's okay. Ankles are terrible. Look at that. They didn't try at all to hide the articulation or to incorporate it or anything. If you're gonna do a big flat cut like that just to separate the two parts of the body to add articulation, the ball hinge better be the same size as the cut. That way it fills out those gaps and it doesn't look like two flat cuts in the joint. Plus, there's almost no, there's almost no range because of that. That ball hinge should be like at least 50% larger. It should fill up that whole joint. The whole ankle area should be ball hinge. So how come on their figures when they have skinny joints they use big ball hinges, and when they have big joints they use little ball hinges? I don't understand that. There's no benefit to this. It doesn't function and it looks like butts. Even the ankle rocker is limited because of the way they did that. That's terrible. Bad. Stop doing that. And we have a toe hinge, which this one's a little bit farther forward and it's not as loose, so that's pretty good, but some of the other ones have been bad. That's why I mentioned it. Check out those reviews. This one's okay. But those ankles are bad. Hips are bad. Torso's okay. Arms are okay. Neck's limited. Yeah, it's not bad. I'll give it a 7 for the articulation. There's nothing standoutish here at all for the articulation, but it'll get the job done for most people's purposes. And I guess that's good enough. I don't know. Oh no, 7's kind of generous. I don't know, guys. I feel like a 6 might be in order with those hips and ankles. Yeah, I'll leave it at 7 just to keep you guys happy. All right, time for the final verdict on this guy. The standout moment for this guy is the sculpt work. The individual detail sculpt work is really nice. All the texturing is great. It's gonna look good on a shelf. It's gonna stand out on a shelf. I wish there's a little bit more paint to bring it to life, but it's okay. Downside is the sculpt work for the head is not good, but luckily at certain angles you'll be able to hide that. Just don't look at him from the side, I guess. If they had just done this version of Batman, they could have gotten away with so much more, but they didn't. Anyway, it's on the friggin' box. Why include the image of the wrong thing? I don't get it. I don't get so many things about this line. It's hurting my head. It's hurting my head. Oh, okay, final verdict on this guy. I guess 7 again. Everything on this McFarlane line so far recently has been a 7 because it's like lots of good stuff and then lots of bad stuff for no reason at all. 7 out of 10. That's the final verdict. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, well, you might want to. I have new videos almost every single day and thousands already on the channel. Literally almost 4,000 reviews on the channel. So come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.